right, welcome to our Ag Spotlight video. I'm here today with Jason Medows. He's the host of Ag State of Mind, and their mission is creating a place where we can help break the stigma regarding mental health in agriculture. So welcome, Jason. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
That's awesome. So how did this all start? How did you end up having a podcast about mental health in agriculture?
It's a great question, and it's kind of a long road, but I'll give you the Cliff Notes version of it a little bit. So I'm from Missouri, and I'm third generation cow-calf producer. And I'm also the youngest of 5 in my family. So there's a lot of tradition around here, and I wanted to do my best to uphold that tradition. But in 2002, I actually left the farm and I went to pharmacy school. And then graduated in 2008. I'm a pharmacist, and I have been wanting to bridge those two worlds together, agriculture and healthcare, and I never really found a great way to do it. And it was last year, 2019, and I'll also mention that I have had my own struggles with anxiety, sometimes depression, and have been able to help myself out. So that part and a lot of those stresses came from agriculture, from like I was talking about, the generational transition that we will go through soon, and then just the stress of trying to do the things right. And it was all kind of came like together. It was July of 2019, so a little over a year ago. My wife and I were in Dallas, Texas at a conference. It was actually a conference for her, and I was just kind of tagging along. And I was sitting in a hotel room, and my 14-year-old son calls me and tells me that our tractor's on fire. We were in the hay. Him and my dad were in the hay together. I'm normally there, but I decided to take the weekend with my wife. And I mean, I'm 8 hours away from home, and everything is just like, seems to just like, oh my gosh, what is going on? What is happening? Why is this happening when I'm not there? But I was able to talk my son through it. We lost some equipment out of the deal, which is, in the grand scheme of things, not a big deal. Everybody was safe. Everything was fine. But I realized at that point that there was a point where I would not have handled that as well. I would have freaked out. I would have driven home. I would have ruined our weekend together. But there was a certain peace that had come over me after dealing with this. And I mean, it was a very, like, it was a hard situation to get through, but we got through it. And I understood something about myself, that I had helped myself. And I knew that there were other people who had to have struggled similarly than I did. And I wanted to be able to give a voice to those people and be able to help them out and help them know that they're not the only ones going through whatever they may be going through. And I wanted to be able to reach a lot of people, and I wasn't sure how to do that. And then it just kind of came to me on that drive home, that 8-hour drive home from Texas to Missouri, that a podcast would be a wonderful way to get my story and get this message out there, because podcasts are really kind of the next generation of medium. So many people are doing them, and as a result, so many people are listening to them. And I thought it would be a great way to tell our story and tell the story of others. And, that's how it that's how the idea started. And I mean, I knew absolutely nothing about podcasting. I don't know much more about podcasting now than when I started, but a little bit more. But it's really grown, and I was able to get a lot of help from a lot of great people. And it's really grown into something that I take a lot of pride in. And I really feel like it's helping people.
Yeah. And, I've listened to some of your podcasts, and they're really, really great. It's really important what you're doing, and really honorable. And, if you think about a farmer's life, there's so much that can go wrong every day, from equipment,
Yes.
crops, to animals, to disease. I kind of think about it, the whole world right now is going through this virus. Well, anybody involved with animals has been going through this their whole lives, right?
Yeah,
So
it's nothing new to us, right?
yeah, that's it. It's like, okay, well, you know, everybody's freaking out, but you know, all of us that have been in agriculture forever, we know this happens, right? So you just have to deal with it. And how do you think people, do you think that farmers are dealing with it different? Are you seeing that than the general public?
I I think we're starting to, and I think there's a lot of great people doing some really great work that are helping people to understand that it's starting to be okay to talk about it. And there's getting slowly they're getting to be more people who are telling their story. And so what I was afraid of, I would get into this and then I'd have run out of people to talk to or run out of stuff to talk about. That's not been the case. There's been so many people doing so much great work from not just, most of the people I talk to are in the States, but I've talked to several people in Canada and Ireland and UK, and this is a global effort. There are so many people that are doing the work now. Getting the 65-year-old farmer in Wisconsin to talk about it, that's a little difficult, but
Right.
we're making progress. We're getting a few of those each day to talk about it, and one person that we can save, one person whose life we can make better, that every day, that's us. Those are small wins, and we need to just continue on those small wins until everybody feels that they can be helped.
Right. Yeah, that's great. So who do you think is your audience? Like, just defined. Is everyone in egg? Who is it?
I would like for it to be.
Mhm.
I'm seeing it's a lot of people my age, I
Mhm.
think, right now. A lot of wives, which, how do we get things done on the farm? We ask the wife, we tell the wife and she makes sure that the farmer does it, so
Right.
I take a lot of pride in that. And a lot of women do listen to the show and hopefully pass it on to their husbands. And but I'm getting a lot of feedback from a lot of men from their 20s to their 40s, that are of my age, and dealing with family issues, dealing with too much time spent on the farm, and intramarital issues. And uh, that's who I want to reach, the people who are grassroots involved, the people who spend their life working the ground, working with animals. Those are the people who I want to reach, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job of it. I want to do better, obviously, but I think I'm doing a really good job right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree. And what kind of qualities do you look for in the people that are your guests on the show?
That's a good question. So I want someone who has unique ideas,
Mhm.
and I want someone who has a unique perspective. And I really like it when someone has their own personal story to tell, how they've at one time or even currently struggle with mental health, and how they're making steps to get better, and how they're making steps to help someone else get better. And we're talking to a lot of producers. That's something that I hoped would happen.
Mhm.
um, and I didn't know how fast it would happen, but it's really happening, and people are coming to me wanting to tell their story, and I'm very thankful for that. But I'm also talking to a lot of extension agents, state extension agents. I don't know if you have something similar in Canada, where the state land grant universities have extensions, but I'm talking to a lot of people like that. I'm talking to a lot of people with associations.
Mhm.
uh, it's just a really diverse crowd, and I'm really, really happy for that,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
because it takes a lot of perspectives.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. And I think diversity is good, right? A lot of different opinions, a lot of different viewpoints on your show, right? And
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, and the medium itself is so great for agriculture, because often you're alone in your tractor, you're alone in your truck, and if you need help, you don't really know where to go. But to listen to a
Right.
podcast, you download a day's worth and you can learn so much, and it's like you're connecting with these people, right?
And another thing about it is it's safe.
Hmm.
It's nobody has to know that you are doing that. I mean, eventually we want everyone to be able to talk about it as freely as possible. But that's not always so easy for some people. And especially when you are in like rural communities, small town, everybody kind of knows your business. When you're in a tractor cab with headphones in, nobody has to know what you're doing, what you're listening to, what you're thinking about. And I think that's one of the beauty of parts about it is people can kind of relate in silence a little bit.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, that's cool. So what's your greatest moment so far in doing the show?
Oh, wow. I'll tell you this. And this was a very unexpected moment. And it was actually a few months ago. I was talking to her name was Beth Killo. She runs like a horse therapy place out in Northern California. I think she's right in the San Francisco Bay Area. And and I don't know if it was on purpose or if it was on by total accident, total coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence, so I don't think that was it. But she got me to tell my story of how I got sober. I struggled with not alcoholism necessarily, but it was going to that point. There's a family history of alcoholism in my family, and I was going down that road, and she got me to share my story of how I got sober and how it has benefited my life. And for me, like personally, and this is a total 100% selfish personal thing, that has been the greatest moment for me.
Wow.
To get that out there with people.
Right. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really, really cool moment. Really cool that I got to share that with her
Yeah.
and share that with everybody.
And which episode was that? So we all
Ooh,
know.
46, I believe, if I'm remembering right. So just like a couple months ago. I
Right.
think it was in August, if I'm remembering right.
All
So,
right.
but yeah, it's definitely episode 46. I
Yeah.
remember.
All right. Good. Amazing. And has COVID affected the podcast positively or negatively? Have you seen a jump
Mm.
since then?
So the first month, I kind of got a little scared because I was coming off. March was my highest downloaded month at this time, March 2020, and I was really riding a high. I was really excited, just to be followed by April being my lowest downloaded
Oh,
month.
wow.
So,
Everybody was
and
watching the
that's what
news. That's why.
nobody was driving as much. A lot of farmers were having, I think it was a wet spring, so not as many people were in the fields. And so I think that's where a lot of time people they listen in the tractor cab, obviously. And so that wasn't happening. And it was a little, I don't want to say scary, but it was a little disheartening there for a few months. But now it's really taken off over the last month was my highest downloaded month total ever. It's only been a year, but yeah, we're sitting right at around 25,000 downloads total for the podcast.
Wow. That's
And it's
awesome.
not where I want to be, but it's a good spot to start. It was a really good first year.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. So what's on the horizon for you?
So my thing I'm most excited about is November. And November, as some people know, is kind of been Men's Health Month. And when we talk about men's health, a lot of times we focus on physical things. A lot of times it's getting your examinations for prostate cancer. I think that's where the No Shave November for November started. But
Mhm.
I am going to do a total feature where we talk about men's mental health through the entire month of November, and specifically rural mental health, agriculture mental health, just like we are, but we're going to focus on men because I feel like it's really important, and they're the people, women, I'm very thankful for this. They want to talk about it.
Mhm.
They really, and the reason we're talking about it in agriculture is from the effort from a lot of women, and I'm very grateful for that. But we need to tell our own stories as men.
Right.
And I want to be sure and highlight that in this coming month of November. And I'm really excited about that. Really, really excited for the guests that I have lined up for November.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's great. Any parting words?
You know, I want to encourage everyone to, if you're struggling or if you know someone that's struggling, make sure to either reach out yourself or if you know someone who's struggling, to reach out to them and make sure that they know that you're a safe person to talk to. If there's someone that you care about, or you care about someone enough to talk to them, it goes both ways. Don't be silent, because silence is in this situation is unfortunately what kills.
Right. That's it. Well, thank you for everything you're doing. And at North American Egg, we're going to do our best to make sure that people can find you quick, and we'll be promoting you on our social media and on
Well, I
this.
appreciate that. I appreciate all the support. It's really cool to have so many great people in my corner.
Awesome. Yeah. So good. Thank you so much for being on.
Thanks.